gradually turn brighter and milder. We get a flow in off the Atlantic as opposed to the cold east as we've had over the last few days. Clearer skies across eastern Scotland and northeast England through the course of the evening hours, and elsewhere we'll have some breaks, could lead to some mist and fog, maybe even a touch of frost, but notice many of the spots staying above freezing through the course of the night with that cloud in place in many areas. Then we go through the course of the day. Notice the weather system to our north. It stays there because of high pressure and fairly settled weather. The eastern parts of Britain having the brighter skies, and even into Northern Ireland. Not a bad finish in Belfast, 8 or so. Western Scotland, we finish about 5 for Glasgow, but notice Aberdeenshire, probably seeing 10 or so for Edinburgh, and right down the east coast as well. Northeast England, very nice Newcastle to Lincolnshire. Very pleasant here with some good breaks, even into the sunny spells. 7 we finish off in Norwich. A bit more cloud as we come further south and west to, say, London, finishing the day about 6, and then further south from that, some cloud, but notice some holes in the cloud, a brighter looking day and milder for many of us. Finishing the day probably 7 for Plymouth with fairly lightish winds here from the west. To Cardiff we go, and looking at 6 with some breaks in the cloud, fairly bright skies, a bit more cloud the further north and west you are. And then through the next few days, we look at Monday, high pressure, still quiet, maybe some breaks further east you are. This weather front to the north, the blob of blue, that works down as we get to Tuesday. So it's a wet day for many of us Tuesday. Notice the temperatures though, reasonably mild, and maybe some showers, some wintry on Wednesday for the north. Elsewhere,